Welcome to the Ultra Ascent podcast. I'm your co-host Mark, and today Proctor and I get back in the groove of things of starting to put out episodes. So you're going to see more from us here coming up. On today's episode, we talk about the Black Canyon weekend. We talk about the Austin Marathon. We talk about elite running and non-elite running. We dive into, toward the end of the episode, the little beef going on between Charlie, Lawrence, and myself. And then we talk about the races we've got coming up. So if you like today's video, leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought about it, and we'll keep improving for the next one. Let's do it. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. All right, we've been away for a long time. Quick intro. Just, we hopped on the phone last week, had a really nice 45-minute call, and I think we just want to get back into bringing those to the podcast because they're too valuable and miss talking to you. So we got to get this back going. We're shooting for 45 minutes today. No schedule, no breakdown, no consistent theme of the day, just kind of free falling.
Just a phone call, man.
Just a phone call. Did you check out the Black Canyon live stream?
I did, yeah. I worked all day on Saturday for our big President's Day sale at Salt Lake Running Company, but we had it on the TV, so I was able to watch a lot of it. And I was really rooting for our Utah guy, Coleman Cragen. He ended up finishing like 8th, but he was fighting most of the day. It was cool to see Hans Troyer win it all, and then Jen Lichter on the women's side win it all for the 100K. I had met Hans back in 2024 at the Grindstone by UTMB event. He had run the 100K there. I was running the 100-miler, and I guess he had to drop at a certain point because he just took it out super hot. But that's what he's been known for, is just like shooting for the stars and seeing where he lands. And most of the time it works out for him, so it's really cool to see that. He's also a younger dude. He's like 26 years old, so he's like on an astronomical rise right now, coming off that win and the win at JFK 50.
What did you think of the... I was blown away as like, I wouldn't say I'm the most interested in the sport of running, and maybe that's just because it hasn't been made interesting in the way that like you can sit down and watch a football game or a sporting event. But this, I was like, this is awesome. Like it was on in the background when Lucy and I were doing chores around the house, and we'd sit down and we'd watch. And I think there's ways where they can improve it, and I think technology-wise, that's kind of a barrier right now, of just like when you're watching the drone and there's multiple different people of like, I don't always know who I'm looking at because I'm not as like tuned into the runners, so I don't know by the way they run or the clothes that they wear, like who's who. So I think just little ways like that, but overall, like I thought it was extremely entertaining. And it showed the growth of the sport because tuning in last year, because you ran it last year, right? The 50K?
Yeah.
And the difference, even in like noticeable improvements from last year, I just thought was so exciting for the sport as a whole of like, whoa, this is becoming like a live entertainment type of thing.
They're definitely leveling up in the production. I think in the past years, like there's been like some like glitchiness and like some connectivity issues, but they've got it dialed now. Yeah. I don't know if they have like Starlinks like every mile of the course or what they've got going on, but they really have the back end figured out. And those drone shots are so sweet that you can see. I know it's tough to know exactly who's running, but it's kind of hard to do that in the fly when they're flipping back and forth between so many people. So they kind of have to rely on the commentators just to have a good idea of what's going on, and the drone guys to communicate that to them. But there's a lot going on, and they're in some places that are some stretches that are more remote, so it makes sense that it can't be the best. But it was really cool to see this year that they included they added the prize purse, the community funded prize purse, where they were matching donations to that, and it seemed like they had a pretty good contribution to that this year. I think the men's winner, Seth, ended up taking home,
I think it was like 5,000.
Yeah, something like that. And then same for the women's as well.
Yeah.
So they got the even split, and then like third place is like a grand still. So
was last year was there no prize money at all attached?
No, there's none. No, but
okay.
Yeah, there's like been controversy with that, and I think a lot of the folks that are on the
asking
side.
community.
Not just on that, but just not having prize money in general. The controversy of having no prize money in general, because a lot of the people that say like, oh, it's okay to not have prize money in general is because the sponsors have like these huge bonuses tied to like the golden tickets and the podium and like top 5 at that race. I don't even know if top 5 they'd have a bonus, but I know that a lot of the sponsors incentivize their athletes, so they're like, oh, if the sponsors are just going to front the money up, like, why does there need to be prize money from the race too, you know? But that doesn't help the random ballers that go up on the podium. And
well, yeah.
You know,
like, if you're not sponsored or you don't have those incentives and you
Yeah.
show up, I don't.
Yeah.
Who's it hurting that you're, like Hans Troyer? What, he's sponsored by Hoka, so he probably got paid twice for that win. Why is that a bad thing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I don't think that argument really holds up much. And they definitely have the money to do it. I don't know how much the live stream and stuff takes to put on and fund like all the commentators and stuff like that. So that's another thing, I guess. Like different than other races. Like they've got a huge production going on. So
well, I saw there was one dude. I'm forgetting his name, so forgive me. But he's kind of built his platform off of DNFing and like continuing to go back. It's like
Reed Burrows,
the Run Borderland.
Oh, Run Borderlands, yes.
I think that's what his name is, but he had kind of called it out of like, I just saw a clip, so I don't know if this is his full take, but just saying like, why are you asking for the viewer to pay when the brands and the race are making all this money?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think they're not making, like, I was viewing it. I didn't feel forced to give any money, and the people that wanted to give money, they gave money, and I think it worked out. And they were matching, so I don't see any issues with that.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. And then the 50K the next day was really fast and fun too. I mean, Seth won this year. He had won the 100K last year and set the course record, and then this year he set the 50K course record and ran a 50K in 3:16. So blazing fast,
crazy,
like,
dude.
And that terrain is so like rocky and windy that like running on it, like they were running low 6s per mile on that terrain. Is just, it's incredible, like how fast they're going. And then on the women's side, I think Jane Moss, she lives in Boulder too. She won, so really cool to see. She ran like 3:40 or something like that, 3:50. So super fast, super fast.
Is this I guess, what other Aravaipa races go on, and is this going to force other races like a Western States or some of these other bigger races to get better on their live streaming?
Yeah, I know Western States is, their live streams put on by Mountain Outpost, which is also associated with Aravaipa. So like Mountain Outpost kind of puts on like all the live streams for the trail events. So they kind of have that like monopoly in a sense, where they can kind of control what races they show up to and what races they support the most and the resources that they put towards these events based on like maybe what sponsors provide for them. So they're at a bunch of different races around the country. This one just has a ton of like eyes on it, in particular because it's a golden ticket race, which, I mean, it's an automatic entry into Western States for 3 people on both the men's and women's side, so that's huge. A lot of eyeballs. And then it's a World Trail Major, which is another like series that kind of goes on in the background. Like that's been new for the past like 2 years. So that's getting more press to it. So there's a lot of eyeballs from like all over the world on it. And I mean, that's similar to Western States, but there's not really as many other big events in the US that are like this, where it's like a mashup of so many different like things coming together. A good time of year for people. Like there's not as much big race competition at the beginning of the year, at least in the US. So they can kind of have their spot there.
Does Free Trail do any
and Free Trail's
media?
Free Trail, they usually use like Mountain Outpost if they're going to use like a live stream event, or like Jamil and Air Vipa for theirs.
Okay.
Like I know they've had Jamil out there for like the first year of Big Alta. I'm not sure if they had it last year or not. I don't think they had a live stream because sometimes they can't get like drone permitting for it. But I know for Big Alta they did, and then I'm sure I don't know if they've had it in the past, but Gorge 100K is one that ACG is sponsoring a ton this year, like putting over like $100,000 into prize money into this year, because it's close to Portland, close to Nike, and then they probably will encourage a lot of their like Nike athletes and ACG athletes to run that one. That one and Broken Arrow are getting a ton of money, so I'm sure they'll have a live stream and more support towards it too, because the prize money is just absurd. Like Broken Arrow, I think for the 23K, which isn't even an ultra and won't last you probably more than 2 hours. I mean, less than 2 hours. It'll be like an hour 40 probably. Like the winner gets, I think, like 30K on both sides, which is like a huge like new development. I think it's like the biggest prize purse now in trail running, and like out of all the events, the one that's one of the which is, that's not a ultra is the most funded, because I don't know. I think the most fast athletes in the sport are going to pull up from all over the world, and I think it'll be sweet. So hopefully they have a live stream for that. That'd be sweet.
And Austin Marathon happened this weekend too. Did you know anybody running in that?
I saw that. Yeah, there's a few guys I'd seen that I'd known. I know Max Jolliffe ran it. He ran like a 2:34, 2:35. Like it seems like everyone I knew running it ran kind of around that time. Like Truett Haynes in jeans, and then this one guy that you beat at the Summit Backyard Ultra. Popped up on my page, and he like ran the same time too. So they must have just all been running together. Yeah, it's like
that's pretty impressive. I didn't know Max was that kind of dynamic of a runner.
Yeah, he is. He does quite a few like 100-mile plus training weeks, and he does a lot of speed work. And I mean, he's ran a few fast marathons before and fast like 50Ks, but like I don't know if he was necessarily like just focused on this race. He's probably just building into some ultra in the future. I mean, I think he's doing Cocodona this year, but yeah, he's fast. He's really fast. I mean, to compete at the level he does, like that's kind of like the baseline level of like speed you kind of need to have at this point, like minimum, like be like in the 2:30s for at least male marathon, and that's like. That won't get you like far at Black Canyon. Like the guys that are running Black Canyon at the front, like they're gonna be running marathons at like low 220s, sub 220 marathons. That's just like the speed it takes now. So I mean the women's winners. Last year I was running with MK Sullivan. She got third. She won the New York City Marathon like citizen race in 2:37. So. She's fast too. So a bunch of the women are running the 2:30s as well, like the elite women.
Yeah. I reached out to Max. I reached out to a number of people because I saw he's running Badwater.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, and I've kind of eyed that for 2027.
Okay. So I know it's hard to get into.
It is very hard to get into.
It's like Barkley almost.
Yeah.
I mean, not as hard, I don't think, but still.
But there's a whole bunch of things. There's a whole bunch of requirements, and
dude, just win a golden ticket into it.
Well, they have a few, but they are either the application or the deadline for those races is it's already full or passed, and or they just don't line up because they're like too close to bigs in October. So I was just trying to build. Well, one, I would love, one of the things I want to do a little bit more of is like help crew and see it from the support side of things.
Yeah.
But also, I think it'd be a great opportunity to see the race from a different perspective, and also know that like that is one of the ways in which you can help build your resume for 2027 or futures. Like if you help crew or support or know the race in some capacity, then So I was like, kind of kill two birds with one stone. I get to see the race and also help crew and support someone to accomplish their goal, which the last time I was able to do that was with Caius at Mines of Spain, and it was awesome to be in that position. So it's kind of like kill two birds with one
We need to get you on Sally McRae's crew.
I know. I didn't reach out to her. I'll reach out to her today. I'm always hesitant because it's like I know how important, especially when it's like you're in a van, it's close quarters, it's a small crew, and having somebody you're familiar with or that you can trust, and like none of these people know me, even if they're on the elite side of things like those two are, or if they're just going to finish, having some dude that you don't know and how you're going to mesh well with them. So
it's hard to have that like chemistry after like just one race, you know?
Right. So, but yeah, I mean, there's no shame in asking, and
not at all.
Like, hey, I'll help in any way that you need.
I think that'd be sweet, and since you've now finished Arrowhead a few times, like having like the total opposite conditions would be
that's
hilarious.
What I was like that'd be sweet.
It's like Arrowhead's like least crew possible, like Badwater is like the most crew stops possible. Like it's like every single mile, like you can just
unlimited.
have them like unlimited,
so
which it's interesting.
I'm eyeing that.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be cool to do that both of those races in the same year, like the complete opposite ends of extreme cold, extreme heat, and see how that builds.
Have you you don't follow this page called Max Jolliffe Unsolicited Memes, do you?
No.
Okay.
Is it on Instagram?
Should. It's on Instagram, but it's like this page that's growing rapidly now in the trail running community, and a lot of the memes are very inappropriate. And they're like very vulgar. I mean, involving a lot of the pro athletes in the sport, but just like in a funny way. Very comical. But like it's getting the attention of a lot of the elite athletes that like comment on it. Like Killian Jornet's commenting on these posts, and they're like, it's an account with like a few thousand followers. But anyway, I was just thinking about that because I was looking at my hat in the cam and it looks huge, and they always rip on Debo for having like a hat like 4 times too big in there. So I don't know, it just gave me that idea.
I've got it pulled up here. It looks rather interesting. I see Kim Jong-un with a sniper in his hand.
Yeah, that's just like the initial picture before the carousel of what he like actually does.
Yeah,
like that's just like the opener to like let people know that he's just going for it. And anyway, on Badwater, the first time I think I'd heard of that race was in that ultra running man book by Dean Karnazes, and I know that's just like the most like stereotypical OG like OG runfluencer. But he I think he was saying like his shoes would like melt if he wasn't on like the white part, the white strip of the road, which is just insane. Like I couldn't even imagine doing a race that hot, but it sounds like you're all in on it. Like when did this come about? Like when did this come about? Like honestly, when you saw like Harvey Lewis and people like get in this year or what?
Yeah, and it was I think after I saw all of them get in, and then also it seemed like a logical step in the things that I'm trying to pursue in the sport. And you know, I when I had thought about I want to do these extreme races, but I actually want to compete in them and do them at a level that's like high level, really pushing the boundaries. And I don't think I necessarily did that in Arrowhead. I went back and I accomplished a victory there, and I took 4 hours off my time. But I think there's still that drive with me in Arrowhead where it's like, okay, wow, Jake Heggie still did it so I completed it in 35 hours and 48 minutes. Jake Heggie still did it in 27 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
Like what does it take to get to 27 hours? And I think that's an interesting. So I just continue to push the boundaries and not stay limited to the races that I know and I'm comfortable with and I have experience with. Like I want that humbling experience that I had my first year at Arrowhead and see, okay, in order for me to be prepared for Badwater and then succeed at Badwater, it's going to take a couple years to be humbled and to train differently. And I want that growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and on the Arrowhead, did you feel like the underfoot conditions this year led to like a lot of the time gain, or was it other improvements? Because I know the conditions last year underfoot were pretty rough, where it's just like you're post holing, and this year is much colder temperature wise, but I assume that leads to faster underfoot.
Yeah, when the snow's solid and firm, it just feels it's very runnable. But I slept a lot less this year. Last year I slept for 4.5 hours, maybe total time, and this year I slept for 40 minutes.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So I think the sleep was down, and then also just my overall speed was much better.
Yeah. Killian Korth has been saying, or maybe it's Rachel Entrigan actually. Rachel Entrigan's been like on the top of the 200-mile scene now for the past few years, and she has been saying that like sleep is gonna be like a thing of the past for these races, where like people are gonna just like be able to figure out how to run through it at all times, even during like 200s. And if you are sleeping and taking that rest, like it's just not gonna work out for you because people are gonna get so much further ahead. There's another argument, like Jimmy Elam, who had beaten her at the Mammoth 200 this year. He took quite a few naps because he was ahead. He was like, oh, just wake me up when she's within this distance of me, and then I'll keep going, and then take another nap, and then wait for her to catch up kind of a little bit, and like kind of gain that energy back as he goes. But he only could do that because he was in the lead, I feel like there's a few different like strategies now that people are kind of developing, where I know Killian Korth, he's also not resting at all, and he's just kind of just staying steady through his progression. But like Jimmy, it's like he's faster than both of Rachel and Killian, so he can take a nap, run faster, take a nap, and then do that again. So I guess it depends on like your leg speed and how durable you are too.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the athlete that you are. I think I heard this recently I think I heard Rachel talk about this on the Keep Hammering Collective podcast, where they talked about how the winner of Western States either last year or the year before who was that? Do you know?
2 years ago it was Jim Walmsley.
Okay, who was it this last year?
Caleb Olson.
So if I'm not mistaken, Caleb spent significantly less time in the aid stations. Like he was quick in and out.
Yeah, he's quick. Yeah.
But his running time is much slower than Jim. So I think Jim had said something along the lines like, I don't know where he's going to pick up extra time in order to, push that boundary for himself unless it comes in his training and running, because he's already spending such little time in the aid stations. So I guess it just depends what type of athlete you are and where you can pick up those, 5 minutes here and there is huge.
It is huge, yeah. It goes really far, especially in races where like the field's a little bit deeper and there's just a more dense competition for sure. And I know Badwater like strings out quite a bit, so I'm not sure how much resting people are doing on that course. Aren't you able to like leave that course to like go to the hospital, and then as long as you come back to like the exact spot that you had left the course, I think you're able to do that actually.
I guess I don't know.
I think that's the thing with that race, which is pretty funny. Like you can go to the hospital and come back and finish as long as you like start exactly where you ended last time, so you can leave the actual course.
What race? What's your next race?
I've got Big Alta 100K. It's the first year of the 100K distance at the Big Alta. Previously, they've had the 28K and the 50K, which they also have this year as well. It is in Marin County, California, so right north of the Golden Gate Bridge. super nice area. Marin Headlands, like the hills there, are beautiful. That time of year, they should be greenish, I think, in the spring, kind of starting to bloom. But it's also, that area is the host of Mount Tam. I don't know how to say the full name of it, but Mount Tam's what they call it. And it's like the highest peak in like the San Francisco area. So that's part of the course. You don't quite summit it, but you kind of get up to like the summit block within like 100 feet or so of the summit. And it starts right like directly beneath like the north end of the Golden Gate Bridge, and it heads like all the way across point to point across the county, 62 miles, and then about 13,000 feet of vertical gain. So no joke for 100K, like pretty good vertical gain. So a lot of the hills are runnable. Debo just put out a YouTube video since he's like one of the, he's associated with the race. Like him and Free Trail are very much so partnered with it. I know Jeremy with Daybreak Racing is like the race director for it, but Debo and Ryan Thrower, his film guy, they both put a YouTube video on like the preview of it. It's pretty sick. I mean, California is known for the trails being very buffed out and like, almost like carpet. They call it California carpet because it's like you're running on a trail with no obstacles. It's like a flat dirt, like almost a dirt road, but more smooth. Even. Like it's crazy how smooth it is. So the climbs, even if they're steep, they still like look and feel runnable because they're pretty wide. Like the trail's pretty wide and it's so like butter smooth. It's like a road almost, like a road that's dirt. So that'll be sweet. That's coming up about 4 or 5 weeks now. It's the week before the Buffalo Run 50 miler, and I'm not doing that one this year. Not defending my title, but I am helping Finn with operations and like logistics for that. Not exactly sure what that entails just yet, but he's contracted me for that for a few days to help set up and tear down and do a bunch of different other things during race day. So that'll be fun. I know that one's going to be a lot more competitive this year with Finn at the helm and kind of the attention that he just draws naturally to it. So a lot of the local guys are coming out to run it, some faster guys. I know at least a few are kind of gunning for the course record I'd set last year, which is Evan Pancake. He's definitely fast enough to run it. It just depends, I guess, the day he has and whether or not he wants to bury himself that much. He's ran like a 4:01 mile before, so his ceiling's very high in terms of speed, which is pretty cool. And then I'm only doing like 3 events this year. Last year I think I kind of over raced, and like I was kind of saying on the phone last week, I feel like I didn't get a chance to train as much as I would have liked. I was kind of tapering, racing, recovering, tapering, racing, recovering. So it's kind of like this constant like washing machine cycle of never actually getting to like train as much as I would have liked. I got a lot of experience on courses and racing people, but I don't think I was as physically prepared as I would have liked to be. Just kind of looking back now, it's hard to know in the moment, like doing that process, but I guess hindsight is 2020. So kind of gives me a better idea of what I want to do going forward now. So with that, in June, early June, I'm doing the Scout Mountain 50 miler, which is a 50 miler that this year, unique to this year, it starts at midnight. So that'll be a good training race for my 100 miler coming up later in the year. But the Scout 50 miler is going to be the first race that my mom watches in terms of like my ultra running, so that'll be fun. She's coming out to Utah to crew, and it's only like 2.5 hours north of us in Pocatello, Idaho, so not too far of a drive. She's flying in for that. And then my next big race, the last one on the year as of now, is the Kodiak 100 miler. It goes around Big Bear Lake in California, and it is a qualifier for UTMB top 10. At this race, it's a major, so top 10 in all distances get an automatic entry into one of the UTMB races back in France. So that's kind of the goal, I guess, going into 2027 is to get back there and to compete there again and to get more experience in the course. It's kind of like a known thing that it takes like at least 2 times to kind of get the course down and race it to kind of do well at it. The winner this year, I mean, he hadn't won before. I mean, he'd gotten, I think, third before, DNF'd, and then did something else. And then the second place guy, Ben Demon, he had DNF'd twice before he got second place there. So now that I've seen like the full loop and just survived that course once, I think I have a better idea of at least what it takes to train for it and what I want to do leading up to it, and then how to survive the night. Hashtag BPN. But at the race. But another big reason why I'm only doing 3 events, the Big Alta 100K, the Scout Mountain 50 miler, and then the Kodiak 100 miler by UTMB, is because Natalie and I are hopefully doing a 2-week trip and doing the John Muir Trail in California that leads from Yosemite to 210 miles to the summit of Mount Whitney, the highest point in the contiguous U.S., where also pretty close to where Badwater ends. Badwater ends at Whitney Portal, which is like the start of the trail to get to Mount Whitney. Yeah. So you can do that after Badwater if you want. I don't know if you'd actually be able to survive.
That is a thing, but I mean, people attempt to do
people do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nasty. I know the climb is literally 99 switchbacks. Like, it's known for being 99 switchbacks of climbing. So quite a bit. And you can either start from Yosemite to Mount Whitney or from Mount Whitney to Yosemite, and it's like 220 miles with the extra 10 miles to get to the top of the summit. But that's something on our list, and we took our big trip to France last year to kind of focus on my like goal of completing UTMB, and now this year it's like Natalie's more like hiking motivated rather than running, so I think she would enjoy a big like long hiking trip, and I would too. Not to say that I wouldn't like eat every bit of that up, but that's kind of like the focus. Our big trip is gonna be like just hiking and backpacking and be on trail for a few weeks. We have like this pipe dream of someday doing the PCT, and the JMT kind of runs like along the PCT as well, so it's like almost like a mini version. But people say the JMT, John Muir Trail, is like 220 of the most beautiful miles in the world. So,
well, it also sounds like, I think when it's all said and done, you'll look back on last year and this year as like really good learning points for your career, because it's like you got experience at Black Canyon, you got experience at UTMB, you got some of these experience at races, and you performed extremely well at the Buffalo Run. That's like a major race probably on your radar, but you performed well and you got a ton of experience to then go into this year and be like, all right, you're focusing all your attention on building a really strong foundation with the knowledge of the experience you had at those races. And
exactly,
I think that's a really cool way of doing it, instead of like, you know what to expect at those races and you finish them, and so you have that in the back of your mind too.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like, it's really hard to connect the dots of like all this going like forward, but I know looking back I'll be able to know like it was all worth it to like do all those things in the lead up, and I don't know, they're great experiences just in general by themselves anyway. So I don't really regret what I did last year. I just know now how I want to handle it a bit differently and build a bit differently, and I mean, that's all you can do. You can just learn and grow from it.
Right.
I mean, Buffalo Run itself, like, that basically secured me a partnership with Precision that I've now rolled into year, like, 2 with, and they, like, signed me back again. So now I don't have to worry about my fuel again this year, which is huge. Like, I don't have to worry about that expense and the stress of having to, like, worry about whether or not I want to take a gel on a run, because if I want to pay for another one, you know, that type of thing. So,
well, I think it also put your name in a bigger light, whereas you know, like, nobody would have, other than people that know you, would have looked at UTMB or even Black Canyon and said like, oh, Alex Proctor.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
but
exactly.
At this race, it was like, oh, he won and set the course record, and now you know, people know you.
Yes. You know what's funny? On that same note, yesterday, this is so random, but I had seen this running belt on a guy, Cade Michael. He got second at the 50K, or third at the 50K behind Adam Peterman and Seth Ruling. and I had seen this pretty cool like just running belt on him, and it was a brand I wasn't familiar with, so I searched him up, and I had like they have like 70 followers. They haven't like it must be a prototype belt, like so they haven't dropped any product yet. They're kind of just like getting their product out to some of the elite athletes in the sport and seeing how like their feedback on it. So I just reached out. I was like, "Oh, saw your belt on K today," and got me interested in trying it. Are they gonna be live on the website before Big Ultra 100K? I'd like to try it out and just see how it is. And then the person responds and says, and I don't know if it's a guy or girl who runs this account, but thanks, Alex. Been watching your YouTube from around the time you hit your Buffalo Run course record last year. Impressive stuff.
Sick.
Like what? That's the most like what like out of nowhere. That's just random. I mean, I have 83 subscribers and that video has 1,000 views. But the fact that like that person somehow knew me because of the Buffalo Run course record and my YouTube channel is just like it's like what like it might not show in like the stats, but like it is pretty cool like how much of an impact like a decent performance can have. And even if it doesn't necessarily show on the statistics, like people are aware of it and people know, even if they're not interacting with it, they like know, you know.
That's I mean that is
your mic
the power of
has kind of cut out, or is it my thing here?
How am I now?
I'm not sure. I can't really hear you anymore. I can't really hear myself either. But let's see. Technical difficulty.
I can still hear you.
There we go. It's better now.
That just shows the power of even not chasing perfection, and I think this has been a conversation we've had many times of like posting content and like the power of that. That's 1,000 views on that video, but you never know who, you know, that could be that one of those viewers could be somebody that, you know, isn't into ultra running yet, and it inspires them to get into ultra running. It could be on the other end where it's a brand that took notice of that and is like, oh, I remember watching you break this record, and now you're reaching out. Now I have confidence that you will show up and perform. So it's, you know, it's a great reminder of just continuing to put yourself out there in whatever capacity you have, and people are watching. People are taking notice.
Sorry, Noah. I'm trying to. I can't hear you again. It just cut out for like that last whole spiel that you had. But
can you hear me now?
I bet it was motivating. I still can't hear you. But 1 second here.
Okay. Technical difficulties.
This is being buggy.
I'll just keep yapping until Proctor can get me back.
Oh, there we go. There we go. We're back.
Now that he's back, it's just, you know, you never know who's watching, and whatever capacity you have to share your journey is, you should do that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I mean, I just had got a comment in my last YouTube video that I just put up like last week. The guy that was just like, oh, new subscriber. I run on trails here in Colorado, and it's just cool to see like other like trails like nearby that are possibilities to run on. Like looking forward to more content that you put out, like that type of thing. Like it's just like cool.
It's cool, dude. That's cool.
It's cool that like that videos like reach people that, I mean, that aren't just followers of subscribers. I mean, I'm just starting to like realize that. Like, I think on Instagram, it's hard because I feel like I just post to like high school friends and college friends, and then people that I've stalked in the sport that start to know me, you know, like because I just like interact with their stuff, and then just friends I've met in the sport as well. But isn't there a thing on Instagram now you can do like trial reels where you just post it to like non-followers too?
It goes to anybody that's a non-follower.
I think Trails with Zach has been doing that. He's been like trying to like manipulate it in a way where he like figures out like the algorithm to like figure out what to post for his main page, so it's only high quality on his main page. Like he's kind of like trying to gamify that too.
He's really figured out the system, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a mentor that he had been working with for a while that was like a founder of an insole company that had generated a ton of views and subscribers on a big YouTube channel at one point. So he knows how to like, I don't know, make content that's very rewatchable and engaging.
Well, I also appreciate that, like, if you check out his page, Trails with Zach, on Instagram, he's not afraid to, like, repost things and, like, try something slightly different. And, like, I think a lot of people don't do that. And I don't even do that. Like, I'm like, do I really want to post the same thing twice? But he does it, or he'll do it in a way that's, like, slightly different. And, you know, from one video to the next, it'll just double the growth.
Yeah, but the thing is with, like, you guys, at your rate that you post and the followers that you have, people, I'm telling you right now, I won't even notice because I would be getting one of the two.
Right.
I wouldn't even get the other one. So it wouldn't even, like, it wouldn't even matter. Like, you're giving yourself more chances.
Yeah,
and
true.
No one seriously would notice if you posted a video 3 different times in the same video. Like,
and Zach's, dude, when I watch his videos, I respect the amount of work he puts into it, because I watch his videos, I'm like, dude, that looks exhausting. Like, his videos, there's like the idea and coming up with new ideas and then executing on. They're not easy things to execute on. I'm like, dude, how are you gonna keep going on this?
Some of them, I mean, all in time take, like, I think 10 to 12 hours for, like, a minute video, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
of just, like, the video of that day, but that doesn't even take into account, like, the prep and oh god, respect to him.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Pretty sweet.
What do you define as an elite runner? What is an elite runner in your eyes?
Elite runner, elite trail runner. I think they're different, because elite runner, I think, can be easily identified by time. If they're on the roads, like, there's, like, certain times that would, like, people could argue would qualify you as elite. Like, Grandma's Marathon, for example. I think if you run, like, a 2:25 marathon or sub 2:27, like, you're elite, and you're granted, like, housing, like a hotel, free entry, and possibly, like, a plane ticket to get to Grandma's. In other cases, you're only really an elite marathoner if you run, like, sub 2:10. And then there's a whole category of people that you're only elite if you run the OTQ, which is, like, 2:16 and below. So I think it's kind of, like, it's hard to put an exact number on, but road it's a little easier to. Trail, on the other hand, you can be an elite and a bunch of different, like, there's one thing to be elite at the 50K, but that runner might not be elite at the 100K, kind of like it is on the road too, where, like, you might not be elite in the 5K, but I would say, like, you are elite at the backyard ultra. Like, you have gotten to the point where you've gotten past a certain amount of days or hours, which would be hard for me to exactly nail down what would be elite, but based on you now being on the Team USA, I'd say that's elite. Like, you've gotten to that point where you're a man on a team of, like, 12 people in the US. Like, that is, I think, in and itself, elite.
Yeah, and I think it depends on, like, what metric you're looking to take on. If, like, you know, backyards are my thing, where do I stack up against all the other backyard runners? I guess this is leading somewhere, and I know you know where it's leading, but, like, Max Jolliffe, where do you think Max Jolliffe is an elite runner? And if so, what performance makes him elite, or is it the culmination of all the different performances he's had, where it stretches across marathon to 250-mile races?
Yeah, this might be this is probably going to be controversial, but I don't think he's an elite runner. I think he's a professional runner. Okay. So he's to the point where he's sponsored and he's created a brand for himself, and he's had some, like, pretty big results on the board, like Moab 240, one of the least competitive 200 miles, but has the biggest eyeballs on it for some reason. He's won that and created a big film off that that's garnered probably a million views at this point. So, like, that in itself is going to get his name out there and grant him a lot of followers. He's won the Angeles Crest 100 miler last year, which is pretty big. but I don't think he came close to the course record on it. I'm not sure if they had to run like a different course last year. I forget, but and that doesn't necessarily make you elite if you run a course record or not. But I'm just saying, like, comparing some times on there, which in itself is a running thing. I don't think it's everything. I think competition is a big part, and like who you can match up against and who you beat is really important, especially to like these athlete managers. But I don't think he's had a performance at a race that's competitive enough to give him elite status. I think elite status would be like, it's hard, man. Like it's hard to say because year to year it's different at races. I think depending on who shows up, like it's hard to define. I think you're alluding to possibly Charlie Lawrence and your. Are you alluding to that or not?
Yeah. I mean, okay. I'm leading that way.
Yeah. But I don't think Max Jolliffe is an elite ultra runner until he proven otherwise, and I think
so. I guess what would he have to do to what performance would he have to show up at that would make him elite?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's like a few performances, honestly, and that's like kind of like the status quo lately, and it's like an ever changing thing. I think the field goal posts move a lot, but with that, say like take a Black Canyon for example, elite there is like, I mean, there's elites that finish top 20 there, top 10 at the 100K. I know he had finished around top 10 at the 50K last year. It wasn't nearly as competitive as this year. So if he would have finished top 10 at the 50K this year, I would have said that's pretty elite based on who's there and the time that was ran. Canyons 100K, that's another one. It's just like these big races where there's the most amount of competition. If you can show up and say finish top 5 there, top 10 in a lot of cases, I'd say you're elite. But it's hard to know. It's hard to know exactly.
It is kind of subjective, and
it's
yes,
subjective.
There are things, but like I think it would be fair to say, and I'd welcome any pushback, that Max Jolliffe is a more dynamic runner than Jim Walmsley. Because, and dynamic in the sense of he's able to apply his disciplines in a fairly elite. I know it's not elite of marathon, but 2:35 marathon is not average. And then also go to some place like, he hasn't been to Badwater yet, but go to a discipline like that takes a whole entirely different range of like discipline through mental and physical, and then win a 100-miler at the Angeles Crest, and which is a thing that actually got him into Badwater because it's a golden ticket, and also go to Moab 240 and win that. Now, we could talk about the competition, but when you look at somebody like, I
think Jim Walmsley is the wrong one to identify because he has ran like a 2:15 marathon, and he's like done that. And he's ran at the Olympic trials for the marathon. And on the other hand, he's this past year, even later in his career, he won like a pretty competitive vertical kilometer race, which is literally just 3,200 feet of climbing straight up. So I don't know if that would be necessarily the right argument for more dynamic, but I do agree with you that Max is a very dynamic runner and that he does a bunch of different things. And the thing with him is like I feel like he's very marketable. I mean, he's a cool dude, surfer guy. Like a lot of people can kind of get behind his like raw and authentic like just feel to him. So I feel like that kind of helps his image while still being like a boss like that can like throw down and shows like that rawness on like on his films, which is pretty cool. The reason I bring that up is because of the Charlie Lawrence thing, and he had made comments towards it about maybe we should stop like burying the lead. What's this Charlie Lawrence thing?
So Charlie Lawrence went on the Running Effect podcast, and they had a conversation about how he could go and break the world record for the Backyard Ultra, go 500 plus miles easily. Mm-hmm. And I went back and forth with him in the DMs because I had made a video calling him out, saying, "Fine, okay, 1-on-1 Backyard Ultra, me versus you. I love it." And he and I went back and forth in DMs, and I was like, genuine question: do you think your existing training, you could walk right in to do it, or would you need to build up for it? And he had said and stated that he could just walk right into it. He doesn't need any additional training.
Yeah.
And he had kind of alluded to this and kind of directly said it, and also the people that more support that style of running said that, Backyard Ultra, or maybe even like the Killian Korth, that type of, Triple Crown winner, not elite runner because there's not competition there, or that's just, glorified walking of that degree.
Yeah.
And I just think it's an interesting conversation of like, hey, I don't need somebody else to think I'm elite in order for me to be elite. Being elite really isn't like a goal of mine. I want to do the best I can at, like, I think going to Arrowhead and going through the battles that I go through is far more important than getting elite status. But I think it's just interesting where these runners that self-proclaim themselves as elite based on these metrics will then refuse to stand on business when they're called out, and someone calls them out and asks them to, okay, do what you say, and they refuse to do it because it's quote unquote beneath them.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a developing conversation between having an elite trail running group during like, a Black Canyon or some of these other races where there is an elite race and a semi or sub-elite race. It's like, I think that's going to be a developing story and conversation as this sport grows, of who's elite and who's non-elite, and how do you gain that status? What metrics do you need to be able to participate and get a chance at the podium with the other runners?
Yeah. I think I've got two things. I think that Charlie's like right in that he that I don't think it would be good for what he's doing to like run a Backyard Ultra because of what it might actually like entail for him to actually get to the point of beating you. Like, if he's gonna beat you or like get to the point where it'd be close to beating you, it's gonna have to take so much out of him that he might be like wrecked for like 10 years. Like, he might not even come back from running. Like, that's the thing. Like, with his like, his.
But the only pushback I have from that, like, I fully respect his athleticism and the disciplines and the accolades and accomplishments that he's had. But if I made the claim that I could,
that's the thing I was going to say. The second thing,
it's like it shouldn't wreck him because he's saying it's so easy to do. It's like, if it's that easy, it shouldn't impact your career in any capacity. As far as like, you shouldn't be sitting out for 2 weeks after. Like, it should be as easy as you're making it out to be.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I think it has a lot to do with like his ignorance to it. Obviously he doesn't realize what it takes to compete in a Backyard Ultra. He's never done it before, so I think it's hard to speak on anything before you actually do it yourself. I had no clue like how hard it was going to be before I did my Backyard Ultra. Little I did know, like, when I was 30 miles in with you guys, like, I was getting like a stress fracture in my foot, and I just thought that was normal. Like, luckily we stopped at 105 miles. Otherwise,
we knew the end of it too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a point where like you could be breaking something, you don't even know it if you're just not prepared to like handle that. And I mean, he's definitely gotten to points where he's in pain and he's broken these 50-mile records, 100K records. I'm not sure if he's ever gone over 100 miles in one go. I don't think he has.
But could somebody say his course record at the tunnel 50 miler? super flat course. Is that elite compared to somebody who's breaking a course record at a 50 miler that has 3,000 to 7,000 feet of elevation gain?
Yeah, I think based on the time, like you could do enough, like enough translation to like see that. I mean, no one else has ran his time ever anywhere. You know, like it doesn't matter where he's at. Like no one's ever ran that time before. It's a world record. So like in and itself, like it's like Phil Gore, whatever, Sam Harvey, whoever's got the record
Gore.
for.
I think it's at
most backyard
114
laps.
hours.
It's like doesn't matter what course he's on. He did 100 and whatever some hours. You know, like that doesn't matter at all as long as you've got like the main metric down, like his 50 miles and whatever time it was, and then Phil Gore's 100 and some laps, whatever it was. Yeah, obviously he's like an elite runner, but I think it was
no question.
It is fun. No question. Yeah. He's one of the best in the world at running. But when it comes to the format of backyard ultras, I think it would be absolutely hilarious. Like watching that, I would literally pay, like, if he was gonna do full effort and actually like, do it, like for him to compete against you and some of these other guys like Phil Gore and like I know Sam Harvey commented on there too, or that one guy that's one of the best backyard ultra guys in the world, and like even throw in the Kendall and Kim, throw those guys in too, whatever. Like I would pay $100 to watch that. I would do a pay-per-view to like just have access to that stream. I'd pay $100. Like I would watch that because it's just like, and I think it's even better because of how much he's put up a fight in the comments of your reels. Like that just makes it more entertaining because you know that like he's fighting for his life in there for no reason at all. Like he's just like protecting his ego and dignity over a comment that he said, and he's just like doesn't want to take back, but he's doubling down, but he also doesn't want to admit that he like would never actually like do it. So it's like, I think that'd be hilarious.
People were commenting, even like kind of backyard ultra fans were like, you know, leave this to Phil Gore or Harvey Lewis because they're the ones that are actually. I've never come close. My highest is 68. Now I, with confidence, leaving both my 63-hour and 68-hour performance, I felt I could go easily another 24 hours. Now, I can't because you can only go as far as the next competitor. But they're like, well, Phil and Harvey are the two guys that have gone the farthest. You should leave it to them. Yeah. And you know Phil and Harvey through following them on social media. Their temperaments aren't... And I don't want to put words in their mouth, but like... I don't think they would ever have made a video like I made calling that out. Whether they just don't care, they think it's like, dude, let this guy talk, who cares? Or it's maybe they're like, well, I want to smash this guy, but that's just not the type of personality they have to kind of talk shit. And so it's like, okay, well then I become the qualified person because I'm willing to take that stance.
Exactly. Yes.
But I think it would be really cool to either 1v1 or have like Kim, Kendall, Sam, Harvey, Phil, Charlie, and myself. Like that would be epic, and it would grow the sport in a way that something else wouldn't. Like I had my sister and her roommate. They were like so wrapped into the drama of it. Oh, yeah. Where it was like reality TV for them. They're like, they don't care that much about running at all, but they're like, this is great. Like, who the heck is this guy? Yeah. So I just think it was a great opportunity. It's going to be a missed opportunity because he's never going to do it. To grow the sport in a way that would be super cool to see.
The funny thing is, though, I mean, the fact that he said he could go over 500 miles in his first try it's just hilarious because Phil Gore... His max is like 495 miles or whatever it is. So the fact
he's dedicated himself to this discipline.
Yeah, and he's dedicated like his life and his existence to this discipline. And the fact that you just think you could just walk in and like beat that is just, I mean, it's ignorant for sure. It's very, it's idiotic. Which I mean, dude. I don't know what would get him on, like, what would convince him. Like,
I tried to press Adidas. write it in his contract.
I mean, I think for him at this point in his career, it seems like he's just very money driven, and that's like all he's like, money and just like glory driven. These world records and like being known by as many people as possible, and getting validation from that. So like, I mean, this itself
would give him all of that though.
This seriously, yeah. So I don't know. If
I feel like I'm doing more bidding on his behalf than him. I'm telling seriously. Adidas, pay the man. Yeah. There are a few conversations with like, the Running Effect has a large platform. Like, I'll get you guys paid. I will get you guys paid. And I'm doing more bidding than him to be a 2-time world record holder than he is for himself.
Yeah, he shouldn't even get a chunk of that cash for not even doing anything on his end. Like, appearance fees and blah, 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 whatever, dude. Yeah. Like, just, come on. What are we doing here? Anyway, dude, I gotta get to work.
Cool. Good chat.
We're at about an hour. That was awesome.